What's up, YouTube fam? My name is Francis, and today we are tackling a topic that might surprise you: quitting. I know it's been a while since my last video. I took some time to step back and refocus my energy. The topic for today's video came straight out of that experience, and it's all about the art of quitting. Now, for those of you who have been following me for a while now, you know my mission is really just about breaking down the barriers between societal expectations, family expectations, and your true, authentic self. Because let's face it, the journey to self-discovery is all about shedding anything that holds you back from being your best and truest you. We're all conditioned to believe in perseverance, right? Never give up. Keep going. Keep fighting the good fight. And in some situations, perseverance is absolutely necessary. But here's the thing. Sometimes perseverance turns into wasted energy. And truth be told, nothing is ever wasted because there are lessons to be found in our life experiences. However, because of perseverance, we may cling to things way long past their prime. And that came from a coach who told me that we often just hold on to things way past their expiration date. And I really felt that. And that keeps coming up time and time again for me. So in these past few months, I had to reevaluate if I was holding on to things out of obligation, out of what I thought I was supposed to be doing. And I had to really have an honest conversation with myself. Are the things that I'm doing fueling me? And whether or not I was in full alignment. And I struggled with this a lot because I really felt like I was abandoning some things. But after some deeper reflection, it also meant that I was abandoning myself by holding on to these things. I was literally ignoring my own needs, and you can only do that for so long before you literally tap out. Often society shames quitting, but is it always a bad thing? That never give up mentality can really trap us in sort of failing situations. And so we learn this in our societal structure. We're fed this lie day in and day out. Take sports, for example, like very simple illustration where athletes really get pressured to play even when their bodies are screaming no. And so this fear of quitting, coupled with the cancel culture mentality, keeps us stuck in things and situations that are clearly not good for us. And let me tell you, I am not about that life. And I hope by the end of this video, I hope you won't be either. Because quitting, when done with intention, can not only be a powerful act of self-compassion, but also a powerful act of courage. Having been raised in an immigrant household where you toughen up and you see things through, quitting was like failure. Like in 2013, when I finally ended up quitting my job, it was sucking the life out of me. But people would always say, people retire, they don't quit. But guess what? My spirit was literally disintegrating. But we're told to just push through that soul-sucking job as if there were no other options. And if you hang around with people who think like that, you're really gonna think that you don't have any options. And so the same thing goes for relationships. We're told to give that toxic relationship one more chance, but not anymore in 2024. You like that, right? I had a little rhyme, you know what I'm saying? Not anymore in 2024. We're not doing that no more. Now, I'll admit I've quit some things prematurely due to maybe impatience and self-doubt, and I've been able to recognize that. But that's where listening to your inner voice comes in. Is this quitting coming from a place of fear or a deep knowing? And that deep knowing is your intuition. And sometimes we don't always trust ourselves to know exactly what we need at that moment, but no one on the outside can give you that. And part of this process is trusting that you will get yourself out of a circumstance, because we come well equipped with everything that we need to navigate the circumstances in our lives. I really truly believe that. And so knowing when to walk away is an absolute superpower. It's the courage to face a broken system and say goodbye. It's facing a toxic situation and saying no more. It's finally recognizing that this path is leading to nowhere. Quitting is not giving up. It's really a strategic pivot to avoid further damage. We often ignore what the universe is trying to tell us, hence why we find ourselves in a lot of these circumstances. It's like we have that nagging feeling that something is off, and we miss the opportunities that are truly meant to take us to the next level in our lives. The beautiful thing about life is that we will get the chance over and over and over again. So even though we may have missed it in the past, it will come back to us. But the thing that we must tame is our egos, because our egos crave the familiar. They fear the unknown because the unknown is really a threat to the ego, whereas the unknown in all of its scope is actually the source to our freedom. But sometimes holding on too tightly leads to a life of silent regrets. All that energy wasted on something that no longer serves you. And truth be told, I don't believe anything is ever wasted. There are lessons again in our life experiences, but we have to at some point listen to that quiet voice inside. Pay attention to all the signs. If it's telling you to leave, there has to be a reason. I'll never forget when I finally decided to quit that job. I felt this weight lifted off of me. Imagine that for yourself, where now you created the space for something new to enter your life. Maybe a dream that you put on hold. The things that we desire to manifest in our lives cannot come into our lives because we've literally blocked our blessings with all of this old, outdated stuff. It's like a team of rescuers trying to rescue you, but they can't rescue you because you've put up boxes against the door and they can't open it. So quitting isn't, again, giving up. It is a courageous leap towards a life that truly resonates with you. So much suffering comes from being out of alignment. So it really takes courage, maturity, and emotional intelligence to admit, listen, this path ain't it. You're not it. This is not it. How many people stay in dead-end jobs or relationships because they're simply too afraid to leave? What is the trade-off in all of that? That's years of your life that you cannot reclaim. And some of you may want to live in that space of regret. Oh, I can't believe I did that for so long. And that's not helpful either. You did what you did then with all of what you knew. So in essence, the wisdom that you have today, you can't transport that back, right? It's like telling a baby, well, now that you're walking, why couldn't you do it at 2 months old? Well, I didn't know how to do that at 2 months old, right? So we have to give ourselves the grace and the self-compassion. So I'll share another story that ties into this whole quitting thing. Many of you know that we're planning a transformative retreat in Costa Rica. We're extremely excited about it. And if you're on my newsletter, then I've already shared this with you. By the time that things get to YouTube, more often than not, I've already said it. So make sure you just stay connected through my Thrive newsletter. But we envisioned an unforgettable experience, soaking up that Pura Vida spirit, that Pura Vida land, that vibe. But sometimes even the most exciting journeys need a detour. Canceling wasn't easy, especially knowing how much our retreats impact people's lives. But staying true to our core values means acknowledging when things just aren't aligned. And so this decision really reflects our commitment to growth, even when plans change. So if for whatever reason your plans need to change and you need to take that detour, remember this: wisdom doesn't disappear with detours, cancellations, pivots, or whatever else. Because ultimately, I know some of you might have heard this before, but rejection is redirection. Endings are beginnings. But most of all, we will carry the lessons that we've learned, the essence of what we created for that season into the next chapter of our lives. Again, nothing is ever wasted. So before I let you go, I do want to say one more thing about how we often pack our schedules, leaving little room to breathe. But it's really actually in these empty spaces, these moments of downtime, that really help us to maintain our balance. And often we have a hard time with free time because we're told that we should be doing something even with our free time, that laying in bed for an extra hour means that you're lazy, or sitting around doing nothing means that you're lazy. But it's in that free time that it allows us to focus on ourselves. It's the space where we can embrace boredom. And that's a whole nother conversation, because we really have our hard time being bored these days, right? But it's in those unscheduled moments that we can truly listen to our inner voice and also connect with what we need the most. If we're not doing that on a regular basis and we're holding on to things that's taking up too much space in our lives that we really need to let go, then we're getting further and further away from ourselves. And we're getting further and further away from that joy. So if you're at a crossroads or considering quitting something that will change the trajectory of your life, again, remember, and before I say this, sometimes we think that our lives will be changed forever, and they will be changed forever. But even when we make one decision, it doesn't mean it's a permanent decision. We make these micro decisions, these macro decisions throughout our lives that will always alter the course of our lives. That is what it means to live and to grow. If your life is not constantly changing and thriving, then you're just stagnant. And so remember this, that wisdom thrives in the face of detours. And sometimes these detours that happen in our lives are self-inflicted, and sometimes these detours come in unexpectedly, but wisdom will always thrive if we embrace it as wisdom. So I always say, don't shortchange yourself on the valuable lessons these moments hold. Move from a place of intention, not fear, and watch again how the universe conspires to bring you everything that you've desired. So let me ask you, is quitting calling your name? And are you considering taking a leap of faith and letting go of something to make room for what truly matters? Let me know in the comments if this video resonated with you. Until next time, beautiful people, thank you for watching. Remember to remain aligned and whole.